Cowbunga dudes, it's Raphael, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, on the Beardy and the Baldy channel, because clearly I am not Jesse in a mask, and I am really just a super big dork. But anyway, I just got back from the late showing of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, and I'm going to do a quick little review just so I can get something up there for it. But I may have a longer, more in-depth back and forth review with a special guest reviewer sometime this weekend if schedules line up and everything. So yeah, look forward to that. But for now, here's my quick little review. Slightly different scenario. I thought I'd change things up with the video a little bit tonight. Anyway, if you saw the first one from a couple years ago, produced by Michael Bay and with Megan Fox and Will Arnett, you're going to get a lot more of the same in this movie. And for some of you, that may be really good, and for others, that might be awful. But let's face it, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies are probably never going to be... I don't know how to put this. It's never going to be quite Scorsese, Spielberg. You know, it's never going to be those big statement movies. What they are, however, is a lot of fun. Now, granted, you can't really think too much about these movies because these movies, and the second one especially, is really embracing just the madcap zaniness of the late 80s, early 90s cartoon animated series. It's just, it's out there. I mean, you get the sound bites, there's tons of little Easter eggs in there that if you liked the animated series, you will see this. And it's just crazy, wacky action fun. And yeah, so there's a lot to be said maybe about like the designs and the looks of the characters and everything, but I will say this, Splinter looks a lot better. They've given him a little bit more fur on his face, so he doesn't quite look like a naked mole rat that happened to have some hair. He looks a lot cooler. Bebop and Rocksteady look awesome. They didn't really hold anything back in the trailer as far as how they look. There's just a lot more of them in the movie than I was expecting. Krang actually looks really cool. And again, he's a lot more like the animated series, and he kind of reminds me of the way they did Jetfire in the Transformers 2. So he's kind of sputtering and all this stuff. He doesn't quite feel that threatening, but his plan is diabolical. So what else can I say? The Turtles themselves, I really enjoy the way they do their personas and their personalities and everything in the first movie, and they ace that again in this one. It's slightly different, tweaks and stuff from what we might have seen before, but it's fun. Like, I laughed so much through this movie, and Will Arnett, I mean, when you see what they did with him in the aftermath of the events from the first movie, it's just... it was just a lot of fun. Like I said, you don't think about it too hard. If you know anything about like science and physics, or just common sense, most of the movie won't make sense at all. But that's okay, because I don't think it's supposed to. It's just supposed to be fun. I mean, much like the animated series, I grew up watching Turtles, Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe. The cartoons themselves, for the most part, don't ever actually make much sense. And when you go back and watch them now, it's kind of like, why did I like this as a kid? And then you find the things that you like about it, and they're still there, but they're not these grand epics that we all, or many of us, may have thought they were. Anyway, I'm trying to be positive here because I actually had a lot of fun. They really get to showcase all four turtles, their personalities, their skills. There's a lot more of that. There is a lot of moments of like heart and growth between the characters. They definitely get the family bond just as good as they did in the first one, I thought. Megan Fox's April is maybe a little bit more believable in this one, but it's still Megan Fox's April O'Neil, so it's not quite the April. She was a lot more fun in this one than the previous movie. I will say the weakest link, and it's not because of his performance, but I just think the way they wrote the character would have been Stephen Amell's Casey Jones. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Arrow, but I enjoy his performance on the show. I just don't like how dark the show gets, or has been, and I gave up on it. Maybe that's on me to try again, but Casey was just so kind of, he was kind of like the heroic twist to what Vern was in the first one, where he's the more typical macho hero guy, um, and it just didn't quite land as solidly as I think maybe it was going for. He didn't quite have that edgy vibe you used to get from the Casey Jones in other series. And again, my favorite version of the Turtles, hands down, are the IDW ongoing series. You can see the collected editions behind me there. They are fantastic. They nail the characters, the story, the origins are different. But anyway, I'm not talking about those today. If you want to go see Out of the Shadows and you enjoyed the first one, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna get a lot more of what you liked in the first one, even more in the second one. They just embrace the complete animated crazy zaniness of the cartoons and like their versions of the 90s and everything. It, like I said, I laughed a lot. I had a lot of fun. I don't really know what else to say without getting too deep into it. But like I said, I don't want to take this too long because I might do a longer review later this weekend. I will, whether I have a guest or not. I'll give a little bit more of my thoughts. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Captain America Civil War is still probably my top movie of the year. Jungle Book is coming in second. Zootopia is in there too. I know I wasn't doing these when I saw that. I'm sure there's some other movies I've seen. But Turtles would probably fall a little bit above X-Men Apocalypse on some levels and below it on other levels. So they're kind of neck and neck. Yeah, and so yeah, it's a great fun summer movie. I mean, it's just crazy action madcap fun. So there it is. Anyway, that's it for my quick little Out of the Shadows TMNT review. That's all I got for you. Peace. Ooh. Don't worry, it's not an earthquake, just me rocking the camera, because I'm a klutz. Alright, bye guys.